I'm just going to pull my notes up over my face because this is a common thing where I just end up staring at myself. So this is about you. This is about you learning from me. So let's make it about you. Thank you so much for joining me on my 7th LinkedIn Live. And fun fact, I never actually thought I'd ever do a LinkedIn Live. And now I'm on number 7. Still get a little bit nervous before I do them, but hey, this is the new world that we live in. And I want to be able to impact as many people as I can do. And LinkedIn Live is a great way of doing that. So if you've ever wanted to do a LinkedIn Live, this is a little nudge that you can do whatever you've kind of put your heart and soul to. But yeah, this is about your training. So this is the final training that we're going to be doing in the last kind of 7 weeks of all of the different lives that I've done. So the chat is open. If you've got any questions as we're going through the training today, just pop them in there. I will do my best to multitask and read and answer and train at the same time. So for those that don't know, my name is Leanne Makinson. I am the founder and director of what used to be Hargreaves Recruitment. I did a huge pivot in 2024 and now I'm Hargreaves Recruitment Training and Coaching. I listened to businesses for over 2 decades telling me how hard hiring was, telling me how challenging hiring was. And 2024 was the year that I actually started to listen to that and provide information that makes recruitment less challenging, that makes recruitment less difficult. And I have a lot of experience when it comes to recruitment. So I do have the qualifications to be able to share this information with you. And just in terms of the LinkedIn Lives, this is the last one that I'll be doing from a 7-week saga. They're going to be available until next Friday, the 29th of, is that right? Yeah, the 29th of November. There are 7 in there. So the video 1 was the most common challenges that businesses experience in hiring. Video 2, recruitment foundations, which include how to create core values, company culture, and a vision for your future. And you might already have these, but if you've not done them in the last 12 months and then we're rolling into 2025, it's a great opportunity for you to now start having to think about how these have changed as your business has grown. We had a look at job descriptions and advertising strategies. Fun fact, I was doing a talk this week with quite a few different business owners and I asked them about ChatGPT. A couple of them didn't even know what it was. Majority didn't know how to use it. This is a great tool for integrating into your hiring process. And it's something that I've heavily woven into my training course because once we get the right information into ChatGPT, it acts as an extension of you, but it can produce results in a flash of seconds, as opposed to us kind of sitting there and trying to get creative with job descriptions and advertising strategies and all of the good stuff that comes with recruitment. It can create it in seconds once we feed it the right information. So that's a really good one to have a look at. Then we had a look at employer branding. Are you a business or are you a brand? You both. And we kind of put a lot of time and effort into building a brand when we've got stuff to sell, but the same really has to apply for employer branding. How we pigeon ourselves or position ourselves, I don't know where pigeon came from, how we position ourselves as an employer will have a huge impact on the people that you attract into your business. And what I really encourage businesses to start moving away from is thinking that an advert out on Indeed or a recruitment agency, your only sources of candidates. Your brand, i.e. social media, careers pages, what you are putting out there will start to attract aligned candidates to your business. Fun fact, search engine optimization. Who knew you could have that behind your careers pages? But that is how all the job platforms work. So there's some really cool information in there in terms of how to use SEO behind your careers page. How to boost your applications by 70%. This follows on massively from what I've just said. So when I was a transactional recruiter, and a transactional recruiter is basically me working with a company, they ask me to hire someone, I provide them with CVs and then send them an invoice once the whole process is finished. So when I was a transactional recruiter, I found 70% more candidates, and I measured this over a 6-month period of me getting out in front of people and sharing the jobs and me being able to find people strategically on LinkedIn as opposed to just relying on job adverts. Job platforms are very oversaturated. They're very expensive for what they are. And by using stuff like X-ray searching and Boolean searching, if you don't know what they are, YouTube them. They're really easy to put together, or yours truly can train you. By creating X-ray searches and Boolean searches, you can get out in front of so many more people that aren't having conversations with 20 other recruitment agencies. The conversations are different. The apply rates are different, and you will find that people show up in a different way too. And then we had interviewing training all hiring managers need. I've worked in a lot of businesses. So throughout my career, when I first started off, 4 years was working for recruitment agencies. Shit job, good money. I'll stand by that. And a good 12 of those were working internally in businesses. And I worked for some pretty big organizations. I've worked in all kinds of different industries. But one of the things that I was really successful at is training hiring managers on interviewing, how to interview, processes, email templates that we could just set up. Like, hiring managers have got so much going on with their own team and whatever else that they do. And then if businesses don't have a recruitment department or people that kind of manage recruitment, gets palmed off on a hiring manager. Have they ever had training? No. So that is a great video for all hiring managers to watch that have any part to play within the hiring process. And then this week, we're going to be going through the final kind of piece of the jigsaw of all the videos that I've been doing over the last few weeks. And this is induction, training, and retention. Now, I've worked with a lot of businesses before, and when I was a transactional recruiter, one of the things that I'd still do with a business is make sure that I kept in touch with the client and the candidate for a good 3 months after that person started. Now, that was to make sure that that person was fully supported in their role. What I do find some businesses do is that they'll bring someone on board, they'll offer them a role, they'll send out an offer letter on a contract. And then if that person's got a 4-week notice period, they just expect that person to turn up on day one. And we need regular communication with that person. We need them to feel confident that your business is the right business that they're going to be joining. So they might have just been made redundant. They might not be feeling very great about themselves. And then they've just joined your business and they've got, a bit of a lull before they actually start with your organization. And if no one keeps in touch with them, what does that say about your business? The more that we can handhold someone joining your business to integrate them seamlessly, that will have a huge effect on the retention rates that your organization have. And I'm not saying that we have to baby people, but what I am saying is we do need to make an effort when we are bringing people into the organization. So how that could look like in terms of you having a nice segue from offering someone the role is keep in touch with them every week until they actually start with your business. And this could be via text. It could be a phone call. Week 1 could look something like, sent you your contract, just let me know if you got any questions. Or week 1 could look something in the way of, I'm going to need this, and this from you, like right to work documents, or their bank information, or ID to get them registered with your organization. What you could have is a sequence of 4 calls or texts or emails just to kind of keep you what's the word? No, just so you can start to keep in touch with that candidate. So another good thing, you could send like a welcome card from all of the team that everyone signed. You could send some flowers to the house. You could get a mug with their name on and then take a picture with it at their desk with like a notepad and a pen. Like little things like that don't cost the earth, but it's the effort. Money is a great thing. Money talks, money speaks a good language, but the effort is what people are looking for. Now, when it comes to an induction, what I coach businesses to do is to make sure, sorry, I've got hair on my eye, is to make sure that they've got templates set up for induction. And then they can change the templates based on what that person's going to be doing. Now, for me, if you're going to bring someone into business and show them where the tea and coffee are and the toilets and the standard stuff, that's a bit of a waste of time. It's easy to be able to create some form of an induction template that gives them email address, well, not email addresses because you don't want to breach data, but you could do a bit of a walkthrough in terms of where everything is in the office, who sits where, who they're going to be kind of dealing with on the first week. And you could have some form of a timetable that says, okay, between 9 and 10 on Monday, you're going to be with HR. Between 10 and 11, you're going to be with IT. In the afternoon, you're going to have some health and safety training. And then after that, we're going to leave you to get set up on your desktop. And making sure that stuff like that is integrated into the induction as well. Have you got all the passwords? Have you got all of the equipment that person needs? A phone, a desk, a chair? Things like this, I can remember starting with a business. It was the second to last one before I got made redundant, and I was literally sat at my desk for 3 days asking for stuff to do. I'm like, I'm here, what do you want me to do? And no one gave me anything. I got a couple of terms of business from recruitment agencies that they were using, but I had to figure that out on my own. And I was in a position where I'd just been made redundant. I think that was the second to last time I got made redundant. And it was like, well, what else do I have? If they want to pay me to do nothing, that's fine. But it didn't make me feel very welcomed. It made me feel very disconnected from that business. And I didn't really want to go through a process of having to apply for other jobs. But I could have quite easily done so within that time. So making sure that that person has like a welcome pack or a handbook that has maybe commonly asked questions that you've experienced from other people that have joined your business. And it's a bit like that acronym, keep it simple, stupid. Never assume that someone knows what your business is like, where the exits are, health and safety, a bit of HR, even stuff like the OneDrive. That could be something that you speak to them about. You know, if you've got like a OneDrive or shared documents or intranets or anything like that, just so that that person can seamlessly come into your business and start doing the job that they were brought on to do, not spending a full day being shown around, where we could literally have that in an induction document for them to be reading through before they actually start with your business. Another great thing with this as well is you can start to lean on your team for stuff like this. You know, no one knows your team better than people working in your team. And if you are a hiring manager and recruitment falls on you, or if you're an office manager and hiring falls on you, start to delegate it to people that are in the actual organization, because A, it's a great challenge for them. And B, if they've been asking for more responsibility, it's great that you're able to give them this. You know, they're able to sit down with the person and give them time and the attention that they need, instead of induction being rushed. And then that person feels like they've been rushed, and it can, you know, start to create problems right from the get-go. So try and alleviate any of the problems that have happened. Have a think about induction and how that's worked for you in the past. Have you taken that time out to integrate someone properly? Now, when we create induction templates, we don't need to do them again for another 12 months, because as your business grows, things need to change with it. But once we've created these strong templates, it's just a copy and paste exercise that is eligible for anyone to start having a look at before they join your business. I'm just going to have a look through my notes just to make sure that I'm not missing anything. Okay. And again, you know, recruitment can be quite challenging. It can be quite draining for people to stay on top of. So by having a strategy and a system in place when it comes to inducting, it makes life easier for you. It saves you time, and it also integrates that person quite seamlessly into your business without it being a bit of a car crash when they arrive at 9 o'clock on a Monday morning. And I'd have a full 5 days worth of where that person's going to be, and I'd make sure that everyone that they're going to be integrating with has access to that document as well. So day 1 might be compliance, day 2 might be HR, day 3 might be systems, day 4 might be IT. So have that as a template that you're able to send out to the person before they actually get started. It's a great way of kind of making sure that everyone has a part to play in induction. Okay. Perfect. So when it comes to training, you might have a loose plan in terms of what training actually looks like in your business. But I find that what a lot of businesses do is they don't share that with the wider world. And when we have a really strong training plan in place, this ensures that we're retaining people. It also ensures that that person has confidence in terms of where their role is going. And I've worked with businesses before where one-to-ones and appraisals have been booked in willy-nilly, and we've just had a little bit of a chat. No one knows really what they're doing. Whereas when we plan out for a full 12 months of that person's development, it means that their place in your organization is solidified. You know, you can really start to book appraisals in well in advance. Making sure that you have a strong 12-month plan for growth gives them steps that they can follow throughout the entirety of their play, they'll stay with you. And really what we want to be able to create is strong retention strategies. So you having a training plan in place, makes them feel that your business was the right business to actually join. We've got all of this investment that we're going to be putting into people, and I don't know whether you invest into self-development or personal growth or whatever that training looks like, but anything that we can do to develop that person in your organization means that you don't have to go to market again. We have a bit of a rule of thumb when it comes to people staying in businesses, and it can cap at 2 to 3 years because they can't learn anymore or no one's putting any development into them. And naturally, if you've got a curious person or someone that really wants to develop, they'll start looking at the other places that's a step up from where they are. But what I really encourage businesses to do is start having a look at how can we keep people in the organization for the long term. Can we start having a look at personal growth? Can we start having a look at self-development? These are things that really get the brain ticking. If this person is in a sales role, what other information can we start to do to really boost this person's experience in sales, in business development, human psychology? If we've got someone in an administration role, is there a path to progressing within your organization? And progression doesn't necessarily mean they have to take steps up. They can take side steps. They can learn other things in your organization. Also, as well with that, not everyone wants to be a manager. So if you have a fast track to becoming a manager in 2 years' time, it's not going to turn everybody on. So start having to think about other areas of the business that these people can maybe take a sidestep into, so you're retaining future hires. Like, the only time really that we should be going externally to recruit is if you can't find those skills in your organization. And that's something that I strongly encourage you to start to have a think about, is how can we start to retain people? How can we start to invest into people? There's a caveat with that as well. If you are investing into people with training, we want to make sure that that person isn't just learning and then going somewhere else. So maybe have some contracts in place that people have to stay with you for a certain amount of time. So that would be training. And I would strongly recommend that you have some form of a template that you share with that person, that you maybe kind of go through on their first month, just to kind of see where their thought process is. Is this something that they're happy with? These are when all your appraisals are going to happen. This is when your performance reviews are going to happen. And really spend time with that person to understand their needs and wants as well. When we have a training plan in place, it's about two people having a conversation in terms of where this role is actually going to go. So you forcing certain training on a person, like management, for example, might not be in alignment with where they want to go. So really have an honest conversation in terms of their needs and wants when it comes to training too. And then the final kind of piece that I go through with organizations is the retention piece. So when it comes to targets and KPIs and measurable results, you have this in any other part of the business, but I feel like when we start to talk about KPIs and targets with people, they're like, oh, I've been monitored. I've been, this is like micromanaging. It's absolutely not. If we want to be able to measure performance, we need to have certain targets and KPIs in place for us to be able to measure the growth of that performance. It's the key function in your business. So why would we not want to measure it? And it's kind of, it's not personal to them. They're doing a role. That person's personality and that role are two different things. And I think that's where we take things personally. Whereas measuring targets and KPIs is making sure that we're measuring the growth of the business, we're measuring the growth of that role. And we're also having a look at key areas where we could be pouring more development into that person. We could be pouring more training into that person. And if that person isn't performing, it's not a case of, oh, well, this isn't working, you're out. It's a case of, this isn't working. What else can we give you to make sure that we've given you everything that we possibly can for you to succeed in this role? I'm highly dyslexic. I don't learn at the same rate that other people do. I'm neurodiverse. I've got ADHD. It takes me a lot to focus on these lives because I can hear my phone pinging and my emails pinging, and all I want to do is just be distracted. People learn very differently, and that's something that you might want to incorporate into your retention strategy. And it's something that I go through right at the very beginning of the training that I do, but it's learning about people's personalities. It's learning about how people learn, how people absorb information, how people react to different situations. I talk about love languages right in the very beginning of the training that I do, the 5 languages of appreciation. And you understanding someone on a deeper level will have such an impact on the induction and training and retention. It's great that we do have all of these templates, but we need to make sure that this is a bespoke experience to people that come through your organization. So get to know people on a deeper level, get to know what turns them on, what excites them, what makes them focus, and try and adapt the training and induction and training around that too. And another thing to kind of go back with induction, it can be quite intense. It can be quite a lot of information for someone to absorb. And if someone's literally just sat there learning or listening or been talked at for a full 8 hours, and guarantee you for the second half of that day, they're physically exhausted because our brains are able to absorb so much. So maybe have a look at that induction as interactive. We might chop it up into easier ways for them to absorb that information. The same goes for your training. And the same goes for kind of KPIs and targets. We look at this as quite a negative thing because people are like, I'm being performance managed. And it's not. It's just a great measure for us to be able to see where this role is going, how you're performing, how it's impacting the organization. And I think that's another great thing to actually weave into that. It's not just their role and them taking it personally. You want to kind of show them how their role is making an impact on the wider organization. We have all of these different departments in here, but this is how your role impacts all of these different departments. That gets them excited. It makes them feel a part of something bigger. So if you have any questions about that, I'm going to stay on for another 5 minutes, and I'm just going to talk to you in terms of next steps with this. So with the lives, this one will be available for you to watch straight away. And then as of next Friday, I'm going to take them all down. So this gives you an incentive now to watch the lives for the next 6 days. Is that right? I don't know. My math's not great. And then it's next Friday that they're coming down anyway. So share it with people, tag it with people. If you know that a business is struggling and they need some advice in terms of getting themselves unstuck, these lives are a great way of doing that. I also have Hiring Made Easy, which is launching on the 2nd of December. So this is specifically for businesses that want to have an educational recruitment. They might be using recruitment agencies and it's not working, or they might just be using Indeed and not getting the results out of it that they were looking for. This is a roadmap and a strategy and a blueprint. It's 6 weeks of learning. Couple of hours every single week. So you'll do a couple of modules, start integrating the learning, do a couple of modules, start integrating the learning. And it's lifetime access. So what I do recommend is going through all of the modules and then going through it again as many times as you need for that information to land. Because I find that once you watch something and it's quite new information, sometimes it might not kind of sink in, but by the second or third time, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. It's interactive. I've made it from a neurodiverse perspective so that it's not just me talking at you. It's got interactive videos. It's got Loom videos that show you how all of the exercises work. It's got 70 downloadable templates. I think I went a bit mad with the templates, but on the same token, you never have to write another email again. Everything that we've talked about over the last 6 or 7 weeks, it's all in a process where you can just literally put it all down into templates or downloadable documents so that it's easy for you to start running with or integrate into your business. And it goes over everything that we've gone over for the last 7 weeks. So it's available on Monday. It's 2497 in its entirety, but I have been splitting the modules into 6 mini modules, which is everything that we've gone over. So if any of this has helped you in any way, shape or form, these are just little snippets of Hiring Made Easy. And the mini modules are 449 each. Now, if you do buy a mini module and then you want to buy the full Hiring Made Easy training program, I'll discount that price of that module off the training program for you. It will have a discount code with it as well, so it'll be 25% off for the entirety of next week. But I would love your feedback on the lives that I've done. It's quite new for me to be able to do stuff like this, so I want to be able to see how impactful they've been and how they've made a difference. So if you have had any aha moments or if you've integrated any of the learnings, please send me a message and let me know, because it just gives me more reassurance that everything is kind of going in the right direction. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for listening. I will probably do some more LinkedIn Lives over the back end of December. But for now, this is everything that you need to know in terms of how to hire and make better decisions with attracting, hiring and retaining staff for 2025. Much love. Thank you so much. And I'll see you soon.